Hey there, fellow citizen of the internet. My name is Moses. I make random videos that cross my mind and put them up on the internet. And today it's about the downsides of traveling a lot. I'm going to primarily focus on three things. One, the actual act of traveling, being on a plane, being on a train, that rhymes, being on a long car ride. Those things are tiring in and of themselves. Tricky sentence for me to say. Two, you have absolutely no routine. And three, the relationships that you make along the way are at best superficial, not always, but it's really hard to deepen the relationships that you make along the way. Okay, number one, the actual act of traveling drains a lot of energy from you. If you've traveled, let's say from Michigan in the United States, and you want to get to Lisbon in Europe, you would have to most likely start in Detroit airport, fly to Atlanta, and then a 7 to 8 hour long flight to Heathrow in the UK, and then finally a 3 hour or so flight to Lisbon. Now, the act of traveling, the act of being in the air for 7 hours, that alone will drain you like there is no tomorrow. I'm currently in Morocco, and this happens every, 5 hours or something. I've yet to narrow down. Here is a potential solution to this. One, sleep well before you start the trip. If you're going to be on a series of flights, one of them being like a 9 hour long flight, you want to sleep really, really well before that long flight. The same would work if you're going on a really long drive. Sleep really, really well before you actually get on the journey. Another potential solution is to drink a lot of water or plenty of water. I'm really terrible at this. But if you are on a really long drive, pull over. Take, 5-10 minutes to chill a bit. That will add more time, of course, to your drive. But it's gonna make you feel a lot more refreshed when you get to your destination. The second downside was having no routine. I say that you have no routine because you are constantly changing time zones, and constantly changing time zones means adjusting when you go to sleep and when you wake up. And that also translates into having a very poor circadian rhythm, which just throws everything out of whack. That makes it extremely hard to have a routine because, well, things are constantly changing, time zones are changing, your sleep patterns are changing. How do you keep a routine in those situations? Here is a potential solution. This is gonna be a bit tricky if you're changing time zones really, really fast. But before you start your trip, get into the time zone that you're planning to fly into or to travel into, so that by the time you get there, your body is already adjusted somewhat to the new time zone. For instance, if I am on the Eastern Standard Time and I go all the way to the Pacific Standard Time, there is a 3 hour difference. The day or two before I make that move, I would start to go to sleep and wake up as though I am on the Pacific Standard time zone. So that by the time I get to the Pacific Standard time zone, my body will be adjusted. My sleep schedule, my circadian rhythm will be somewhat adjusted to the Pacific Standard Time before I even get there. The third downside is that the relationships that you make along the way have to be by nature superficial, because you don't know when you will see these people again, if ever. So the idea of cultivating relationships deep kind of really doesn't exist. You can make it work, of course. For instance, right now I am in Marrakesh in Morocco, but I think in a week and a half I will be in the desert. So if I were to meet someone here that's a really cool cat and you want to connect, it's hard to build and deepen a relationship because, well, relationships take time to build. So you have to see the persons a few times before you can, well, call each other friends, for instance. So it becomes really hard to deepen relationships. It's not impossible, but it's really hard. A potential solution to this is to cherish the relationships that you make along the ways. Whether it is a small interaction while you're buying local bread, whether it is another tourist or another traveler that you run into from your own country or a different country, cherish those conversations and try to get as much out of them as possible. One thing that goes without saying is that the relationships that you build back home, you want to maintain those strong. So understand that relationships that you make along the way are not in vain, although temporary. Cherish those relationships, even if it is a small interaction as you're buying a piece of bread. And 3, maintain great relationships with the folks back home. Now, because you're traveling a lot, you are constantly changing where you are from place to place, and that can run into another thing that I forgot to mention, which is you are always looking towards the next thing. And that is dangerous because it can rob you from your ability to enjoy the current place that you are if you are already starting to think about the next place. The reality is, as you are anticipating for the next thing, you might start losing out on the current thing. And I don't have a solution for that. I just know that it has to be a constant thing that's like, hey, I'm here, I'm gonna enjoy here, and there, I will enjoy there once I get there. To give a quick summary, when your sleep, the environment, and the people around you are constantly changing, it's really hard to create something that closely resembles a routine. And as we know, a well-regulated routine is pretty crucial to our well-being. And traveling a lot and having a well-regulated routine kind of do not go hand in hand. So for those fellow travelers and future travelers, remember to enjoy your travels, stay healthy during your travels, and try to enjoy all that this beautiful world has to offer. My name is Moses. You've been watching this on my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.